It's funny because way back when I reviewed the first chapter of this whole Shokugeki no Sanji series, when I thought it was just going to be a one shot, and yet, much like the Ace side story or the Zoro falls into the sea story, it's just keeps kind of going. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, it's actually pretty fun. And they seem to just take place during massive moments of downtime for Sanji. The first being right before he met the Straw Hats, going about his daily life and all that good stuff. The second seemed to have been right after the events of Arlong Park. Well, sometime after. It felt like sometime before they got to Logetown, and after Arlong Park, because Nami has her, Pinwheel and Mikan tattoo. And since once they kind of hit the first half of the Grand Line, they started getting involved with Baroque works, and specifically Vivi. And this chapter actually kind of focuses on Vivi for the most part, aside from Sanji. It's after the battle against Crocodile, where the Straw Hats managed to save the kingdom, and they were having that massive banquet feast, and Luffy was just wolfing down everything in sight. And Vivi was just kind of happy to see them enjoying everything. Vivi is so cute in this style. Like, seriously, this chapter really does Vivi a lot of justice, and in a way that Nami honestly just didn't get in the previous two chapters. No, I should say the previous chapter. Because, the first chapter had that food critic who was a little bit on the chunky side. And the second chapter, it really wasn't about, like, Nami. It was about Sanji preparing that special fish that had to be prepared in a specific kind of way. And Nami really just was a very inconsequential character, just to have a little bit of something else kind of going on for the most part. But no, Sanji decides that he kind of wants to make something special for Vivi. Honestly, it's both Nami and Vivi because he wanted to get them both falling for him, but he ends up hearing about how, Terracotta, who is the wife of Igaram, I think it was. I'm fairly certain she was his wife. I hope not his sister. They have the same hairstyle, so it's hard to tell. And I think there was a joke at one point where someone mistook Terracotta for Igaram, so... But Terracotta is going all out for the Straw Hats as a thank you. And she's even brought in various different cooks from outside of the palace. And while a lot of the cooks had also been helping with the reconstruction, she even brought in a lot of the old timers, former chefs, and all that good stuff. And unfortunately, Sanji then ends up overhearing that a lot of the chefs from outside of the capital, apparently they had some trouble with their transport, and a lot of the older guys, they ended up throwing out their backs because they had been doing so much intensive labor, and then to try to go in and cook, yeah, they're not young anymore. And I love this shot that they have of Luffy literally acting as a black hole and wolfing down all this food. It's so insane. And while one of the cooks wants to just go out and inform them, hey, we're not going to have much food on the way or it'll take some extra time, Terracotta's got a lot of pride on the line here because she wants to really just thank the Straw Hats. They don't want to have them worry about anything like, oh, we need to hold back because the kitchen can't keep up or anything like that. It's just like, no, this is a matter of we need to thank these people properly, and we'll work ourselves to the bone in order to make sure this gets done. And Sanji, being the awesome guy that he is, simply operates under the excuse of, I'm gonna cook from the East Blue, and I've always wanted to see how a palace kitchen works, and you know what, why don't you just use me? Treat me like a trainee and just tell me what you want me to do, what you need me to do. And Terracotta wholeheartedly accepts, and I love this whole situation because not only do you see some absolutely gorgeous looking food, like my god, the food in this series looks fantastic. And it really shows off Sanji's kind of claim to fame because, there is I believe there's a One Piece cookbook, and as well as One Piece restaurants where you have Sanji out in front, and that's one of the best things. It's just like one of the few series that has an excuse for having restaurants and shit like that because you have a cook as one of your main characters. Like, what other series has a tie-in like that where it's just like, we have an absolutely wondrous excuse for cooking? When it comes to Straw Hat Crew, you have excuses for extreme action, excuses for fan service, you have excuses for cooking, you have excuses for new forms of technology, excuses for great music, excuses for random treasure hunts when you get Robin involved in anything. The diversity really is on display here. And the way that Sanji works in a kitchen is just like, he will be asking one person, hey, is this how you make this particular dish? After only seeing it once, so that he can make multiples of that same dish for everyone, and all the while he'll be flirting with one of the cooks too. It's just like, he is whipping up a storm in this kitchen. And I love Terracotta's comment that he just finds joy in the act of cooking. It's like, yeah, Sanji can be a perv and a lech, but he loves to cook for people. He loves to make people food that they can enjoy. He has no greater happiness, no greater true happiness than when he's fixing something for someone who'll enjoy it. But eventually all the cooks, old and from out of town, all show up. Sanji manages to sneak off with a special dish that he's made. Luffy finally ends up stuffed, so that ends up finished off. And, Chopper gets ready to do his special chopstick dance. And of course, the Chopper's face ends up getting completely obscured because I guess the artist just does not want to show off how he makes Chopper look. He kind of does that a little bit with Usopp and the fact that he never shows Luffy's face completely, which is just so weird. Makes me think of the Hungry Days specials where for some reason they always leave Luffy's eyes kind of ominously ambiguous until they eventually did end up showing it. But, Vivi's just having such a great time just watching everyone, and then starts to say to Sanji, or just to no one in particular, how glad she is that, a year ago she wouldn't have thought like an event like this would be possible within the palace, and how thankful she is to the crew. And then Sanji presents her with what he actually made, which is something called and I'm probably gonna butcher this, Rosbel Laban, which is a kind of jello-y like pudding dessert. It looks pretty good. I would love to try it. Like, just the food in this series, my god. And then Vivi goes in for the bite, and instead of getting some kind of little bit of cheesecake or a bit of nudity from Vivi, there's an odd amount of respect that's given when she has her Food Wars moment of the taste explosion, where at first she thinks of all the painful moments, and I love the paneling of this, where all the painful moments, Pell, the news that she got of what happened when Koza didn't see her through the dust and all that, the slaughtering of the guards and people, those feel like smaller moments in her mind. And then you get this double page spread of all the various outfits and moments that Vivi got to experience, from exploring Little Garden to being in the Drum Kingdom, pulling on Usopp's nose when he was passed out, to when they got the X marks on their wrists, to the belly dancer outfit that she was in, and even a depiction of her pirate outfit, which, man, Vivi's pirate outfit always looked just so good. It is such a beautiful outfit. And then she has this cute little panel where she thanks Sanji for the food, and it's so wondrous. And I love that shot of Sanji just not so much like perving on Vivi, but just enjoying the enjoyment that she has on her face. Like Sanji has never looked more pure than when he is seeing someone enjoy his cooking. And it just, ooh, it does something in my heart. Like, seriously, like, no lie. It is such a fantastic moment. A fantastic Sanji moment that feels so few and far in between. And just really shows off what a good character he is. And then he asks Vivi to dance and she declines, and I'm just like, oh, Vivi dance with Sanji, come on. Any other girl would be head over heels with this man at this moment. And then we have this cute moment where Nami's just like, I didn't get a dessert. And he's just like, oh, well, there was only enough time in the kitchen to make one. And, everything was so much busier than I expected. And, Nami kind of passes it off as her just teasing Sanji because she's full at this point, but everybody has a separate stomach for dessert. And then especially Luffy, he's just like, ooh, dessert, that sounds yummy. But things are capped off with the celebration and the dancing. You gotta love that moment where, the artist cuts the panel in a way that you only see glimpses of Vivi, Sanji, and Nami, and Chopper is very vaguely out of frame. It's so blatantly done to the point where I really do end up wondering what Chopper looks like in this style, because he's going so far out of his way not to show what Chopper looks like. And we get this nice little ending moment where Terracotta gives over a copy of all the recipes for Alabasta, a secret cookbook, basically, as a bit of a thank you gift. They even try to give them multiple bags of spices, and he's just like, yeah, I'll just take a few small portions, and when we run out, we'll drop by again, after we've reached the other side of the Grand Line. And so we get that moment where everyone headed off in the night in order to not, encounter the Marines or anything like that. And it's a sweet moment. Like, I don't know how many of these they're going to keep making, but they're nice little moments here and there. And it's hard to tell when they'll be released, because the first one got released all the way back in 2019, and yet the second one got released earlier this year. So we had a much shorter gap between the second and third chapter. So if it ends up becoming like I want to say biannually thing where it comes out twice a year, like every 6 months or so, I'd honestly be pretty down. And where they kind of take place during like certain downtimes for the Straw Hat crew. The next one would more than likely be towards the end of the Skypiea arc, and it would more than likely feature Robin, because, after this point they would run into Robin. So that would be nice, a chapter to show off Robin and, just make her look cute and all that in the Food Wars art style. I wonder if they've ever done a depiction of Robin in their art style. That's definitely something to look out, but always interesting to see other people's take on the One Piece art style. It's usually for better or for worse. It's very hit or miss. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think about this specialized chapter and how it really centered on Vivi and just the whole Shokugeki no Sanji series overall, and how it really depicts Sanji with a lot of justice for the most part? And if you like this video, please hit me up with a like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon for notifications. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.